Thank you, Chairman Larson. I want to thank Administrator Dixon for being here today to testify, or at least testify online. And I want to commend you for a job well done under some very difficult circumstances over the past several years. Both industry and labor groups have praised your leadership on a number of issues, everything from aviation safety to dealing with disruptive passengers. And we've seen that praise, and again, I want to say thank you. I'm looking forward to hearing how the FAA is doing when it comes to implementing the bipartisan certification reform law that did pass last Congress. The development and drafting of that law is a model of how we can work together and how bipartisan cooperation can yield positive results for the American people. The law directs the FAA to implement the many nonpartisan expert recommendations developed in the wake of the Boeing 737 MAX accidents. It also includes several provisions that I championed relating to pilot training and improving manual flying skills, which is a very important priority in improving aviation safety. Less than a year has passed since the law's enactment, but the urgency of the changes required demand that Congress do keep a close eye on the FAA's progress. And this hearing is also a good opportunity to hear from you on other FAA initiatives and policies, activities. There's a number of issues concerning issues that are related to general aviation safety that I am going to be looking for some answers on. Specifically, I'd like for you to address the FAA's recent changes to the long-standing flight training guidance that has created a lot of confusion and a lot of concern out there in the pilot community. These changes have a very negative impact on safety, and they create an unnecessary paperwork burden on both instructors and on the FAA for that matter. So I hope that you'll take a little bit of time today to address these pressing safety issues. And while we're on the topic of pilots, I want to again make very clear my very strong opposition to the sweeping, indiscriminate vaccine mandate that this administration is pushing on commercial airlines. After Congress joined together in a bipartisan way to provide $30 billion to help save aviation jobs during the pandemic and keep these vital workers on the job, it's insulting that these same workers are being told if they don't get a vaccine, then they are going to be fired. We had no problem asking pilots and flight attendants and other frontline aviation employees to continue working through the pandemic when there was no vaccine. And indeed, we've seen studies, including one by the Department of Defense, that has shown that the airline or airplane environment prevents a very low risk of COVID transmission. But despite this, we are now seeing heavy-handed tactics of this administration to coerce businesses into implementing an indiscriminate vaccine mandate while there's already a shortage of workers to fill these aviation jobs in the first place. In fact, prior to the pandemic, we were already staring down a very serious aviation worker and pilot shortage. So with returning demand, I don't expect that this problem is just magically going to go away. And we should not be treating pilots and other airline workers any differently than we did in 2020. We want them to be safe, but this mandate is not about safety, it's about politics. It's plain and simple. So with that, I want to thank you, Administrator, for being with us today, and I look forward to your testimony. And with that,